what is this OSI model? Open System Interconnect. Open System Interconnect. Guys, so earlier days when these computers and when the computers are there, people started connecting these computers to communicate each other. Why we need to connect the devices? So we need a communication between. What is meant by communication? Either you sharing a file, or you sharing some resources like a printer, you want to share it, or you want to send a mail, or you want to send a message. Okay, so different ways of communication is there. So people will started doing their own type of topologies. There are their own type of communication methods. Okay, based on their organization, what type of communication is required between the devices. So what they will create some protocols. They implement the methods to communicate. So different ways are there. Like an example, Apple Talk is there, IPX, SPX, different type of protocols they implemented. DoD model, which is nowadays we call it as a TCP/IP model. Okay, so they put a different methods to connect the devices and communicate between the devices. Depends upon type of communication or maybe in general type. So what is this OSI model? OSI model is also will tells us so how to communicate between the devices, the way of communication. So total communication. OSI is a reference model. So different organizations may use different type of protocol suites. Okay, different protocol suites, they use it for communicating between their devices. For understanding those type of networks, understanding the way you are communicating in the network, we use this OSI model. Whatever it is, what are the type of devices, whatever the type of network it is. Okay, whether they use fiber optical cables, they use UTP, STP cables, or maybe they use a bus topology, or maybe they use a ring topology, or maybe a star topology, which we are generally using. Okay, maybe TCP/IP use or Apple TAC use. What are the protocol suites they are using? What are the addressing, logical addressing they are using? What are the physical connectivity they are using? To understand the way of communicating, so they put a one method that is called a OSI model. OSI model is not implementation model, it is reference model. Okay, like a reference textbook. Reference textbook is to understand the core concept of things, right? Like it is understand how communication is going on. That is a reference model. This used for understanding of network. And second important one is troubleshooting in the network, layer wise troubleshooting in the network. Open system interconnect. Why it is called open system? Irrespective of whatever the operating system they are using, devices they are using, like a computer, server, or maybe a laptop or mobile phone, or maybe a printer, okay, or maybe a storage rack or a NAS devices, okay. Irrespective of whatever the type of hardware is, irrespective of whatever the operating system they are using. It's not operating system. So open system means irrespective of whatever operating system, what are the type of devices, what are the protocol suites they are using, what are the connectivity they are using. So we can able to understand and troubleshoot that network. Okay. So it is a common philosophy. Okay, networking model. So it is a, first of all, OSI is a networking model. It is a reference model. Why we should learn OSI, which is actually not implemented anyway. We are using TCP/IP model. So all globally common communication network model is TCP/IP model only. Okay. So, but why we are learning this OSI model? To understand, create, maintain, troubleshoot network and network related issues. Okay. So to understand the network, or you want to create a new network, new setup network, you want to do it, or already existing network you want to maintain and troubleshoot any issues that occur. So this OSI model is more helpful. And another is, yeah, it contains 7 layers and it is a standard model. Okay, so standardized by ISO, International Organization for Standardization. Okay, it contains 7 layers. It contains 7 layers. Application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. Again, guys, in certain test works, it is given in this pattern like this: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session, presentation, and application. In some places, mostly my habituated way of telling is from 7 to 1, means application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport, network, data link, and physical layer. Okay, which one is correct? Which pattern is correct? Okay, so reading from 7th layer to first layer or first layer number to 7th layer. So 7th layer, 6th layer, 5th, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. In some places, they started from first layer, second layer, third layer, fourth layer, fifth layer, sixth, 7. So what is the 7th layer? Bottom layer it is. It's not, means layer number is 7. Not at top and bottom I will tell separately. Okay. Application layer. What is the next one? Anyone?
Presentation, sir.
Very good. Presentation layer. What is the 5th one?
Session layer.
Session layer. Very good. 4th one.
Transport.
Very good. Very good. Transport layer. Third.
Network layer.
Very good. Network layer.
Data link layer.
Very good.
Physical.
Very good, guys. So 7 layers. So this pattern is also correct. And this pattern is also correct. So physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport. Okay. Like this. This pattern is also correct. Session layer, presentation layer, and application. Any pattern is correct. Both patterns are correct. Okay. As per the test book, some test books will tell this is the pattern. Some test books will tell this is the pattern. Okay. So why both are correct? I will tell. And before that one, so one important is you can tell from 7 to 1 or 1 to 7. Okay. Depends upon your habitual way of taking. Means already in your college, you learn 1 to 7. Physical layer to application layer. Be like that only. So don't need to confuse yourself. Okay. Or you learn from the application layer to physical layer. No need to confuse. Be like that only. Okay. But only thing is important. Do not interchange. Some people remember first one is application. Next one they will forget. Next one is physical layer. Application layer. They said physical layer, data link layer, transport layer, network layer, session layer, like this. So they will interchange the pattern. That is wrong. Okay. So do not interchange the layers and do not forget some layer. Do not confuse the layer. So what I have done here, it is I have done wrongly, right? So like, okay. So don't put like this. Okay. So why this is correct? Why where this one is like a 1, 2, 7. Okay. We'll show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Yeah. Guys, I will open one more. So what is this OSLA model again? So this is a machine. This is another device. So you are communicating, right? We are communicating means, for example, you are send a mail. Okay. Or maybe you open a website. Okay, so there is some like are you sending a message or you maybe done a ping command. So it has to go from here to here. It has to reach here. Okay, from here to here, it has to be reach. Okay, so you're sending. This is you're sending. This side you are receiving. When you're sending, the first layer is seventh layer, application layer. Okay, and presentation layer, session layer, sorry, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link, and physical layer. This is while you're sending. And physical connectivity, the wider wireless, but physical connectivities. So when you are receiving, you receive to your physical, right? And then data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, and presentation layer and application layer. This is the pattern. That's why some textbooks will give this line, some textbooks will give this line. But both are get why? Because when you're sending from application layer to presentation, when you're receiving presentation to application. That's a good thing. Guys, understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Up to here is okay, right? So these bottom three layers, these three layers, we call it as a bottom layers or hardware layers. Because these layers work is done by the different hardware. So just for example, hardware things, physical layer, hub is a physical layer device, switch is a data link layer, and router comes under network layer because router functionality, router is works with a logical addressing, means like a IP address. So that is comes under network layer. Switch works with a MAC address, that is data link layer. So data link layer dealing with the MAC addresses. Hub is a it does not know anything about a IP address or MAC address. Hub is simply it will connect and send messages, just passes the message, right? Just for connectivity purpose. It does not understand anything. Okay, just for connectivity, that is physical. I will explain each and every layer anyway. So this first three application presentation sessions comes under software layer, also called as upper layer. The transport layer is actually provide end-to-end connectivity. It is a heart of OSI model. It is a heart of or OSI model. Okay, so this is the biggest function layer in the total OSI model. Each layer having their own responsibility to deal with it. Okay. So actually in the part of application layer, I have to tell these port numbers and protocols, explanation of protocols kind of stuff. But what I'm trying to do is I will tell a protocols, then I will explain each and every layer part. Same diagram, but little different. Again, I have a device. Okay. I have a devices and they are communicating each other. Communication means what? Okay. If I send a message, like I'm typing a message, normal instant message, chatting, that is a communication. I share a file, that is also one kind of communication. I share information through website, that is a communication. I'm sending a mail, receiving a mail, that is also a communication. I'm accessing my remote system. So I have a remotely, I have some Linux system or Windows system is there. I'm trying to access and I want to do some configuration. I want to install some application inside. That is also one type of communication. I have database server. I have to connect my database server. So I want to see what content it inside. Okay, that is also a type of connectivity. That is also we are doing some communication. So in the network, what is it? First connectivity, Next one is communication. What we use? We need a connection. We need a IP address, logical addressing, and protocols to understand what type of communication. Okay, you are doing different type of communication, but what type of communication you want it, how system will understand. For example, you are doing ping command. What is a ping? Ping command used to test connectivity between the devices, right? So when you do ping, what type of communication? You are asking about a web page, or you are asking about a remote connectivity? You are asking about just hello? Okay. So what type of communication can understand the protocols? So what is protocol? Protocols are set of rules to understand what is required from clients and servers actually say what type of communication you are doing. Example, if you are using HTTP, so you can see here it is HTTP or HTTPS. Now here also you can see HTTPS means I'm requesting for a web page. Okay, I'm requesting for a open a web page, for example. Okay, so what I'm asking, I need a web page. So I request with the HTTP or HTTPS. FTP, file transfer protocol. So I want to send a file to my remote device, or I want to download a file from the remote server. So I use a protocol. If I put a request with FTP, so server understand you want to upload or download a file. SMTP, already we discussed in Outlook. What is SMTP? Simple mail transfer protocol used for sending a mail. So I want to send a mail. So what I have to do? I send a request with SMTP. So remote server understand. So you are want to send a mail. Okay. POP3 IMAP for receiving NTP time synchronization. If you see my time here, this time is set by NTP server. Actually, who is my NTP server? I will try to show you that is. Try this one. Yeah, now it is. No, it is not showing here. It is not showing. Actually, it will has to be shown here. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. See, it is. You can see this. Synchronize your clock. Time server. Can you see this is time server? This is our NTP server. NTP server. Okay. Network time protocol. It's a time. So what happened in my system? Send a request to this time.windows.com. Send a request with NTP. So this server understand. Yeah, is asking to sync the time as per that their time zone. As per this time zone. So my it will set a time to my device. Okay, so it is how this server understand what I want based on what protocol I'm using. Okay, so like that, different protocols are used to for a different purposes. Okay, here I given one diagram that is you can see. Actually, I want to put this into separate page. Okay, that is good. See, this is a PC. Is send a request to the web server, HTTP request. Web server, it is a web server. So automatically it is understand what is your request, HTTP. Please understand your request, HTTP, and you give a response is HTTP response. So your request, I want to access your website, and it is giving, yeah, take my website. And you send a SMTP. So you want to send a mail to the web server, that is web server, not a mail server. So it will reject it. Okay, here things are, we should understand, guys. Okay, to whom you are asking. Okay, to whom you are asking. To whom you are asking. To whom you are asking. And what you are asking. That is, two things are important. What you're asking, do you want a web page? Do you want a mail communication or remote connectivity, or you want to upload a file? Okay, like that. So to what you're asking, understand by protocol. To whom you're asking, to whom means you want to send a mail, so that is a mail server duty. Okay, you want to access a website, that is a web server duty. So that is a different type of services by different services. Okay, that is important in the communication. You guys understand what is the protocol? Protocols defines what type of communication. Up to here, okay? Guys,
Yes, sir.
okay, good. Protocol represent what type of communication. So if you send HTTP request, web access. Okay, FTP request, you want to send a file. Okay, each protocol comes with a port number. There is a dedicated port numbers are there. Total port numbers are given is almost 65,536 port numbers are there. After that, there is a 1023 port numbers are reserved port numbers. Okay, so each protocol we understand from our side is a protocol, but how system will understand based on their port number only. Okay, depends upon my request, depends upon my what type of communication, I use a protocol, but system understand inside a system, inside a process. So they understand with the port numbers. That's why. So we should understand the common protocols with the certain port numbers. Okay. So common protocols and port number. There are a lot of protocols are there, but I am telling about some of it and most commonly used protocols and their port numbers. Okay, this is HTTP Hypertext Transmission Protocol, and port number is 80. Okay, port number is 80. So you send a request, HTTP request, automatically it goes with the port number 80. So it is like this. You send a HTTP request. So this having IP address, right? This IP address and port number is 80. Like this. Okay. Next, HTTPS. This is important again. HTTP and HTTPS. Both are for web communication. Both are for web communication. I think I told in last time, but again I'm telling because that's example point wise only I told. This is both are for web access purpose only. So here it is. I try to open a website. Here it is. You can see HTTP. Yes. Where is okay, this is HTTP. So I'm using HTTPS, right? What is the difference? HTTPS is encrypt the data. HTTPS encrypt data. What is the data you're transmitting from your system to the web server? Data is the both sending and receiving data is encrypted. So then any others people in the network cannot able to capture your data. So for example, you open a banking website. Banking website means it must have a security. You know, earlier days, this HTTPS used by only few organizations where the sensitive data is there, because that time this encryption method also need a more processing. Mainly banking websites, email accounts, like that only, passport offices, government documentation. So they use this HTTPS. So no one can able to alter the data, no one able to manipulate the data if they're using HTTPS. Data is secure for transmitting while you're sending and receiving a data. Data is secure because data is encrypted using HTTPS. In HTTP, data is not secure. In HTTP, data is no encryption. Okay. Until unless you are not having any serious website, it is not contain much information. If someone is manipulate the data in between, that is also not affect on your organization. You can use HTTP. For example, I am setting my own website in my laptop. I will show you tomorrow or day after tomorrow that server that use HTTP, because I am using only in my network with only in my control. So HTTP is enough for me. Same application, web application, I put it in a online, means remotely people can able to access. So then definitely have to go for a HTTPS. Okay. So what is HTTP and HTTP? So most common question in an interview is HTTPS is HTTP over SSL. So it encrypt the HTTP data. The port number also change if you go with the over SSL or TLS. Yes, understand HTTP and HTTPS?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So HTTP no encryption, HTTPS encryption for accessing web websites. FTP, what is the use of FTP? FTP to upload a file from your local machine to remote machine, FTP server. I want to upload a file, so then I use FTP. Or I want to download a file, so then I can use same FTP protocol. I have an application. So in this application, I think one more application is there that is in my file. Yeah, it is not there in my system. This is also a FTP based application. This also provide a support for a lot of protocols. So you can see, yeah, it's FTP. So I give my remote system IP address or host name, username, and see port number. So when I click OK, we establish the connectivity. So I can upload a file from here. It is loaded to the remote system. I can download a file from there to here. This is FTP. This is SFTP. SFTP is a secure protocol. Okay, secure. Yeah. Okay. So these are different remote access protocols only: SSH, TELNET, RDP, VNC, FTP, SFTP. Okay. Okay. So there are different protocols to connect or communicate in different ways. Okay. So FTP for uploading and downloading, SFTP secure file transfer protocol, and VSFTP very secure file transfer protocol. Okay, so VSFTP D. So this is FTP with a security. Nothing but over some SSH or SSL. SSH used to connect a remote system. I have a remote system, so then I have to configure it. So I can connect a system and I want to do some commands or to do some configuration. I want to install some application. So I need a remote access of that system. So then I can use SSH, secure shell, secure shell, SSH protocol, secure shell. Port number is 22, used for a remote access with encryption. Data is encrypted if you are using SSH. I already showed this is SSH. So what I have to do? I have to connect. These are all my SSH sessions only. Okay. So this is my remote host. So I have to put some IP address here, my remote server IP address and username. Username is optional, of course. Put a thing and port number is 22 SSH. This is telnet. This telnet is also for remote access. Remote host port number is 23. Okay, to connect remote system and access things. Okay, but difference between telnet and SSH, telnet without encryption. The basic telnet is do not have any encryption method. Means data is may compromise. Data may compromise in future. Okay, so telnet port number is 23, no encryption. SSH port number is 22 with encryption. Okay, so both are for remote access. RDP, remote desktop protocol. For example, one of my colleague or some of my client using a system, so he need to fix something. He need to get install some application. Okay, so what I have to do, I will access this desktop so then I can do it from my system. Okay, using protocol called RDP protocol, remote desktop protocol. This is also for remote access. Guys, here it is the difference. SSH and Telnet. Both are CLI based connection. CLI, command lines only. Telnet, command line, SSH, both are command line, both are for remote access. SSH having a encryption. Okay, encryption. RDP is mainly used for Windows related. Okay, Windows system. RDP, remote desktop, means entire desktop environment, means the entire GUI screen you can able to access. Entire GUI screen you can able to access with a RDP. So you automatically see Windows symbol it is showing. Remote host port number is 3389. Okay, of course for RDP you don't require this thing. So put a so you can type remote desktop connection or MSTCS. Okay, so give the you host name or IP address of the remote system and username. Click connect. It asks a password. Give the password, and through the some default encryption inside, so you can able to connect it. So you can view entire desktop environment. And next, another three port numbers are SMTP, POP3, and IMAP. SMTP port number is 25, POP3 110, IMAP 143. We already discussed this one, but just once again, SMTP for sending a mail, outgoing mail server connection. Okay, if you want to send a mail, we put a SMTP protocol. POP3 use it to retrieve a mail, means you want to receive a mail from the mail server, we use POP3 or IMAP version 4. POP3 is 110 and IMAP version is 143. So over SSL or TLS, the port numbers can be changes. So this is without encryption port numbers. With encryption means over SSL additionally you are using, then automatically port numbers will be changes. Yeah, this is 993, 995, and it is 465. 587, two port numbers are there. It depends upon SSL and TLS. It is there. Okay. So what is D3 for mail communication? SMTP, POP3, and IMAP. SMTP for sending a mail, and these two for receiving a mail. Already we discussed what is the difference between POP3 and IMAP in the Outlook class. Okay, please go and read once again. TFTP, Trivial File Transfer Protocol. It is used to for a remote configuration. Mainly, you have a remote server, or maybe you have to install a remote application or a remote operating systems. Okay, a remote configuration like a router, switches. There you want to back up their configuration or you upload a configuration. We use this TFTP, Trivial File Transfer Protocol. Port number is 69. DHCP, DNS. We know already what is DHCP, DNS. Just I told one or two line wise. Okay. DHCP 67, 68. So you can see some protocols having a two port numbers. Some are having a single port number only. Why two port numbers? One port number for sending, another port number is used for receiving. Okay. So like that. So server for sending, and receiving requesting, receiving, kind of like your client to server or server to client kind of stuff for sending and receiving. Sometimes they use two port numbers, sometimes they use only with one single port number. DHCP assign IP address to the clients automatically. So you have a system, you need an IP address, either you configure or you will get a IP address from DHCP. DNS, domain name system, port number is 53. So when you are trying to communicate in the network with the names, but you don't know IP address of it, the DNS server will give the IP address of that remote host for that name. For example, I open w3schools.com. I don't know the IP address. I want the IP address of w3schools.com. Okay, so DNS server will give the IP address. You don't know that address, so you will get that address. Okay, I will separately explain how DHCP DNS works in the server class. Okay. NTP, I explained what is NTP, Network Time Protocol. Network Time Protocol, it synchronizes the time with the NTP server, time servers. Kerberos, LDAP are authentication protocols. Kerberos and LDAP are an authentication protocol. When you log into system, when you log into domain, when you login, you don't know, you put a username and password. Someone has to be verify this username and password, authenticate you to access. Like you open a, you try to log into your system, or you log into a domain environment or a network environment. So there is username and password. So then you can log in. That is also will tell separately, that is Active Directory part is there. So that is also will. Okay. Kerberos and LDAP. SNMP is also one of the important protocol. So port numbers are 61, 62. This SNMP protocol, simple network management protocol, used in a monitoring purpose. Used in a monitoring purpose. I have 100 computers are there. There's servers, routers, switches, and different type of servers, laptops, devices are there. I want to monitor all these things from single window. So I should know what is the systems are running or not running? What is their status? I want to monitor. So which type of protocol you use? SNMP protocol. Other than that one, guys, these are things. So I added one or two. Most commonly, people ask a question, that is, if you have a MySQL server, the SQL servers are different SQL servers. If you have a MySQL server, the port number they use 3306. Not SQL, it's a MySQL server, MySQL database server. The port number is 3306. If you want to access a MySQL server through network, you have to use 3306 port number. Oracle database server is there. You want to connect remotely, you need to connect with some TNS listener kind of connectivity. The port number is 1521. There is a web application or a web server connection. So different web servers are there. So most commonly this Tomcat use 8080 port number by default. We can change some protocols. We can change a port number for certain protocols. We can map to another port possibilities there, but there is certain standards you have to follow. Sometimes that standards also. Okay. Once again, guys, what is a protocol? Protocols are will understand what type of communication you want it. You want a web page related communication, you want a mail communication, you want to send a file or download a file, you want to synchronize the time, you want to authenticate, or you want to remote access. So what type of communication you want it, the protocols will define that one. Okay. So not only just IP address, along with your IP address, you have to put a protocol. Each protocol having a port number, there is a dedicated port numbers for a protocol. I listed the most common and general protocols and port numbers we daily use. Okay, read it, find out the abbreviation of each one, and confirm the protocol and their port numbers, abbreviations, and function. So what is the protocol? What is their port number? What is the use of this particular protocol? What is the abbreviation of the protocol? These are the most important things. At least to list by either understand is good. If you don't understand, try to by heart some protocols and port numbers. Okay, frankly, I'm telling. Okay, HTTP 80, HTTPS 443 are used for web communication. HTTPS is HTTP or SSL means S means secure. Here it is. It is security. No security. How? Data is encrypted in HTTPS. Data is not encrypted in HTTP. FTP is for uploading, downloading a file. SSH, Telnet, RDP for remote access. SSH and Telnet are remote access in a CLI based communication. And SSH with the encryption. SSH protocol, data is encrypted. Telnet, data won't encrypted here until unless you use a separate encryption. RDP, remote desktop protocol, is a GUI based, means entire desktop environment you can able to access. SMTP, POP3, IMAP version 4 are for used for mail communication. Guys, why I'm telling like this again? Don't try to by heart like a 20, 21, 23, 24, 25 like that. No, don't do like that. Take a session like this. So what is the purpose of this protocol? Remember like that. That will give longer into the storage place in your mind. Okay. This is for mail communication, SMTP, POP3 and INET. FTP for remote access, remote configuration purpose. Okay, remote configuration files access purpose, backup remote configuration files. And DHCP, DNS, okay, and NTP, I already showed network time. If you are having a problem with one of the protocols, one or two protocols, it's okay, no problem. Confuse, no problem. You can keep it. But remember what you understand, that is important. Yeah. So guys, understand what is the use of protocol and different types of protocols, okay, and their port numbers.
Yes, sir.
So that's enough, okay. Yeah, take a 5 minutes break, guys. Then I will explain each OSI model. So we discussed OSI. We seen only what is the OSI layers. Then now after 5 minutes, I will start explaining this. What we can say each and every OSI model. Physical layer. Okay. So take a 5 minutes break. So 11:50 is okay, I think. 5 minutes is enough. Or if you want a 10 minutes, take a 10 minutes break. Yeah, 11:55. Just I will be here, just to have some water and washroom. And once read what I told, the 7 layers, and then some protocols port numbers, also read it. So then we will discuss from here. Each layer I will explain.